All right, I'll start. We're here again for another Bright Side interview for this weekend. We got a lot going on. And AJ, we have a bunch of your films and also a script. So like we did once before, we do it again. Here we go. So what are some of the films that you have this time around?
Well, first of all, thank you, CJ and Brightside Film Tavern Film Festival for having us. We created a bunch of short films based on plays that we did as a collective theater company called La Strada Ensemble Theater, and we moved it over to film. And so it's kind of like a retrospective of our film work. You know, theater is amazing and it exists in memory after it's over, but film lasts forever. So the films that we have that will be screening at your film festival is The Dance. I directed the Dance and also I.W.S.K, Interview with a Serial Killer. Here with us, Donna Jacobson Black, who at that time was Donna Alt Jacobson, directed Ricky's Story and Reunited. It Feels So Cruel. And Christine Nagy was the star of both The Dance and also Ricky's Story alongside me. So we have The Dance, we have I.W.S.K, Ricky's Story, and Reunited, and It Feels So Cruel.
Christine, when you're acting in the films, how did that go about and with both of them and your different characters there?
For The Dance, where I played dual characters, it was wonderful. CJ, I want to say thank you so much for having us and for putting this festival together, because it's absolutely amazing. And Donna and AJ are incredibly, wonderfully talented artists, and it's an honor to work with you and everyone involved. Tony, I call him Tony, AJ, was referring to La Strada, our theater company. We met through a mutual friend of ours, Tom Cavanaugh, who's also a wonderful writer and has a lot of original pieces that we had worked with. He introduced us. We hit it off. AJ and I started working together. He showed me the script for The Dance, which was a short play, which I fell in love with. And we did the play in New York City. We did it in New Jersey. We did a full-length version, and then we decided we were going to put it on film. So that's where it was a little different, because when we were doing the play, I was just playing the character who, I don't want to give much away, but she's already passed on. and I'm not so much a ghost, but I think Oliver in the play is working through his memories of her and how this still haunts him. And when we did the film version, then I'm the current wife who's kind of being tortured by her husband, who can't let go of this past love or what could have happened with his past. So getting to play both of those characters was pretty amazing and a wonderful opportunity, and I'm very, very grateful for it.
And then in the other film, what about that character as well?
Yeah, where Donna did a beautiful, beautiful job directing, because that was incredibly intense, as AJ can tell you, when we were filming Ricky's Story, and it's so much about loss. And I haven't been in that circumstance, of course, but we have had so much loss in our lives, loss of loved ones, and to tap into that and the great sacrifices that people make for our country, it just almost could be overwhelming. And I just feel like Donna did such a beautiful job of steering us through some really heavy emotions so we could still tell this story. And AJ, you were beautiful in this, just wonderful.
Well, I was thinking, I got a really great story from Ricky's Story. I was very stressed out about the funeral scene, my final eulogy to my son. You know, I was like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to do this? And I think Christine, we were kind of both stressed out about that.
Yeah.
And you know how film is shot all out of order. So, like right before that, we had the scene where we have to come up with the whole how the funeral is going to be arranged, and I'm very angry, and you're angry at me, and I had no idea how this was going to happen. And then Donna went upstairs to prepare for that, to rearrange, to make the funeral scene, set decorate everything. And as soon as, and I know for a fact Christine was right, she was a great acting partner. When we walked into that room, my heart just broke. And I just had to speak the words, and that's all I had to do. And
Donna, how was it directing that?
Oh my God, it was amazing. I mean, to work with these two talented actors, they took everything that I offered and made it their own. And I tried not to push too much, but I tried to give them the tools that they needed to get to where they needed to be. I know being such an emotional issue and everything, I'm an Air Force brat. And so I was used to being around military. And I know of loss too, but I knew that I didn't want to have them focus just on the anger that's involved because there's so many different levels. And to find that and to work with them, I find sometimes, you're not only working from the inside, but you also need the outside to create that emotion, whether it's the costume or the set or whatever. And when I create sets, because I'm very instrumental in working on things, I'm always looking for a balance of the picture and creating a picture that my actors feel comfortable enough to walk into and be able to that adds to the tools that they need to be able to create the character and make the character very full. So I'm cognizant of all those things because I'm an actress too. And I love being able to work with talented people who not only make it their own, but they listen to what you have to say and they do take advice, not just, oh, what you talking about? No, they listen, actually listen. And as an actor, I've always been that way too. It's just that give and take. So
Did you
it was
direct it
fabulous.
as? Did you direct this one as a play as well, or?
No, I didn't. When it was a play, it was only a two-person play.
Mhm.
And then when Dennis Gribben, who wrote Ricky's story, he was, how old was Dennis? 20 years old at the time
he was,
wrote it?
yeah, he was like almost out of high school, like a couple of years out of high school.
And just the emotion that he put into the script. Well, then when he rewrote this into the screenplay, it was just, it took on a life of its own. And it was just such a full, beautiful story that it was wonderful to be able to put his vision down. And what's made it also so emotional for us is that we shot some of the scenes at Dennis's home, and his mother, who just passed away a couple of months ago, she was in some of the scenes with Christine. And it's for us to go back and to revisit this. We talk about the memories that come from, working on stage production, and you have this that you can revisit anytime. I think this has been especially wonderful for Dennis because he's able to see his mother in the film also. So this is going to be so great. I'm so anxious to see him there and to be able to watch the film with him. Yeah. It's yeah. And then I got to direct also Reunited.
United, yeah.
Yeah, it feels
Totally
wonderful.
different
Oh my
feel.
God. We shot that in one day's time.
Yeah.
I know it was, we had planned on doing in two, but we were on a roll. We just kept, everything was working out so well that we just kept going.
Yeah. I was so lucky to play both of those parts because, they're polar opposite of the spectrum. But one's father of a fallen soldier, in his journey with grief, and the other one is, a bully that's trying not to be a bully, trying to find God. But you know, this other character unleashes the bully in him. You know, it's like reclaiming the bully. But it really kind of shows you that ridiculousness of this cycle of, you know, unnecessary violence. You know, but it's done through the genius of Jerry Ringwald, who is one of the funniest writers and human beings I've ever met in my life. I met Jerry in Chicago when I was going to school there, and he just like had me laughing. We were having our beers till like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I just like laughing and laughing and laughing. And then he showed me his plays, and I was like, "This is just brilliant." So I was very lucky to work with Donna on both of these projects, and you know, to be directed by Donna, but also great writing from Dennis Gribben and Jerry Ringwald.
Christine, how you've done some plays first, right? So how is the transitioning from acting from a play into the film version of anything, really?
Yeah, of anything, right? I think it's a lot has to do with the director. So I, you know, turn once again to Donna and AJ, and staying true to the story, just telling the story, except through not on stage, obviously, but through the lens. So it's, I guess you would say, more intimate, you know, just the emotion, and I'm just talking physicality, just the pitch, just the reaching people, so to speak. It's just, now it's almost like you're letting people in. Like with theater, I feel like you're opening your soul and you're trying to share it and reach everyone. And you are doing that with film too, but it's almost like you're saying, hey, come here and check out this story that we're about to tell.
It's absolutely correct.
Oh, good. I'm glad I got something right.
No, that's absolutely
Never
correct. Because Donna, when she was directing, it was like less. Because, you know, a lot of,
we were used to stage, and
Yeah.
so we
Stage,
pull it back, pull it back.
I'm telling you, Michael Caine's video is the best thing of film acting. I don't care what any of these new people on the block say. He is the best. He's the best in teaching film acting, Michael Caine.
Absolutely, that's cool. That's great. So, for all of you, like, what are your favorite parts of it? The acting part, the directing, the putting together, the producing of the films. What would be like?
I think I love directing and writing and putting together film. I have acted most of my life, and when a great script and a great director comes along, like Donna Jacobson Black and Dennis Gribben and Jerry Ringwald, and you have people on the team like Eric Hackler, my DP for the dance and for Reunited. Acting is a joy beyond belief. So I love it all. Like, so it's the three parts of making a film is the conceiving of it, the actual doing of it, and then the editing. You know, people tell you that, it's no lie. I think at the end of it, you look at it, and it's like almost a snapshot in time of the story that we wanted to tell, and that's just unforgettable. I love that part, all of it.
Is there a lot of parts of the film that you filmed that you had to cut out, or since it is a play and most of it is transferred from
like they're reimagined. A lot of it, like Ricky's story, is completely different because I mentored Dennis on the screenplay, and the dance is completely different. I.W.S.K is very similar, but I had to add more characters to it. In I.W.S.K, they're in the basement. Oh, by the way, shout out to my two lead actors on that, Dominic Ferrillo and Evan Black, who's the scariest serial killer. He is like your dad, but then don't get caught in the basement with him. It's terrifying. That I had to add a couple of characters, but that was about it. And I had to change some of the dialogue you know, visuals, not storytelling through words. When you're on stage, you have to explain a little bit more because you don't get the visual. But on camera, it all has to be about the visual. But the dance and IW were very much had to be not IW, Ricky Story, completely different, but the same story at the same time, but just like almost like parallel universe. You know, where one is told through one setting, two characters. Both of them had two characters in those plays, but then when they became filmed, we had to open it up.
How do you go about getting like the score of the film, the music part?
Oh my gosh, we have some great composers. Okay, so we have I'll let Donna talk about our composer from England, but I'll talk about W. Alan Reed, who did the score for my two films, The Dance and for I.W.S.K. He is such a meticulous, mercurial composer. He takes what he sees on screen and he creates these beautiful, beautiful scores for them. The Dance won in Montreal for best best original score at the Montreal Independent Film Festival. And Alan Reed is just king of that. The other king is Donna.
Oh, yes. Oh, Robert Scott. Oh, he is fabulous. He's a wonderful playwright that we met through La Strada, through Tony. And he's very talented. I mean, he's an artist, he's a musician. So he composed the score for Ricky's Story and for Reunited. He did both those scores, and he's just an amazing man, so talented. And so I'd send film over to him, and he'd send scores back, and we were going back and forth across the pond.
Yeah.
But he's become a good friend. So we've stayed in touch all these years and everything. So I'm thinking about using him for a couple of the projects that Evan and I are talking about putting together.
What are you working on now? We'll go around the room. Christine, anything upcoming? And
well, definitely my radio show, which I'm so honored to be able to do every day. I have a wonderful co-host, Cubby, and our station is, if you're in the tri-state area, it's 106.7 Light FM, weekday mornings. And if you're not in the tri-state area, we're on iHeartRadio. We're on the app, and you can tune into us there. And I miss these guys. I miss Donna. I miss AJ so much. And so, I'm available, kids, if you need me. I miss you. I miss working with you, and definitely am looking for, my heart and soul needs it, a project, it's that time.
what about writing something?
I do. I dabble. I'm a little intimidated because they look at, AJ and Donna, you're so good at what you do. I write and then I put it away for a while and then I go back to it. And sometimes I'm actually pleasantly surprised. I'm like, oh, it's actually not so bad. So I think, and that's a great outlet, because creatively speaking, you always have that, right? Even if we're stuck at home during a pandemic, God forbid that ever happen again, but at least we have that as an outlet. So that's a great idea. So yeah, that's something I'm definitely working on.
Any more plays coming up or films?
I don't know. I don't have anything right now. I'm trying to.
Let's work on something.
Yeah, we need to work on something. Yeah. Well, I mean, ideas, things that we've talked about. I have audition this coming up, but fingers crossed for that guy. I won't say anything because that jinxes it. But hopefully that works out. Thank you.
What about you, Donna? What about the shorts you're working on?
Yes, the one I wrote, and in fact, Tom Cavanaugh had me bring it to We Make Movies, and so we read it as a group there, and I got wonderful feedback on it. So that's something that we want to produce, and then Evan's written several things that are so promising. But something I'm trying to get him to allow me to do. His mother is a wonderful 97-year-old lady. And it's, now we're dealing with a lot of changes in her life and everything, and how it affects family. And I thought the human interest side, to take something like that and to be able to film and get some of her ideas and what's happening with her. Also, this is something that we'll always have, even if we don't turn it into a film short. It's something we'll always have, of his beautiful mother and the relationship that she has with him and with his siblings, and with grandchildren and great grandchildren. And so it's something that we want to do this fall. And she's, God bless her. I'll tell you, she's going to be around for 100th birthday. We know that. There's just no stopping her. So those are the two things that we have, that we're working on.
Oh, great. What about you, AJ?
This festival kind of, with those 4 films, there's another couple of things I want to plug in the festival.
Yeah.
Eric Hackler, who's the DP of the dance and Reunited, and the editor of I.W.S.K, as well as the other 3 shorts mentioned. He has a film called Funnel Web, which I have a small featured role, but it's such a great little film. I love it. I love being in it, and he's wonderful directing us in that movie. I also have 2. There's 2 student short films on Saturday.
Yeah.
My students kind of directed, not kind of, they did direct it and make it from my film class. So I'm very proud of that. That's probably the most proud I am, because it's like passing on the torch.
Yeah, my students, I got 2 myself, my students put theirs in. So
you know how that feels, right?
It's
amazing. And so I have a couple of screenplays that are up for awards. One is at Round Reel, called Finishing the Slasher, and one is a Sholo Film Festival in Arizona called Queen Nina and the Artemis Players. My feature film, Fabulous 7, is also going to be screened, also at, I believe, Brightside, for the Grove Street Film Festival.
Oh yeah, Larry's thing. Yeah, Larry's thing.
Larry's thing. So yeah, so and I'm also the screenplay that I'm nominated for unproduced. Are Told Bernice's Cheek. That is, we're in pre-production for that to be shot. So lots of exciting things. I have a bunch of screenplays I want to turn into features. Just always, it's funding, time, resources. The life of a filmmaker.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, thanks for giving me a few minutes today, and well, a long day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, CJ. Thank you so much.
Thanks, and hopefully see you guys, or as many as we can see in a week and a half.
We'll be there.
Thank you so much.